Okay, I changed my setup just a little bit. Instead of having this at a diagonal with two of the transfer blocks, one on each side, I decided I would put it perpendicular or in line with the wheel to make each stroke count a whole lot more. I didn't have to step over but 3 or 4 times versus 25 or 30 times. But what I did was take one of the transfer blocks and put it at the end. Again, any force would be over here to hit this stop plate if something was to fly off. But this has held it. I've got, of those 70-some thousand, I'm down to needing 6 more thousandths off. So again, I'm going to come up here and zero out the big wheel. And we're going to take about 6 more thousandths off. And then we'll be plenty close enough to being the same as the jaw height. Did you see that? I spoke just a little bit quick on it not moving. I've taken all of that 72 thousandths out except for this last little bit. And it decided to move on me then. But I see why. Any of you, anyone else watching see why? I failed to engage the magnet. I got lucky that time, folks. If that block hadn't have been here and the suction of the coolant, it would have slung that piece hard into this backstop. All right, this should be it. Folks, I'm within a half a thousandths right there. I'm going to see if I can get it. That was just using the rough dial, no indicator on here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go 4/10 just to see. Okay, I'm going to take a picture of that. All right, I think we're ready to go back to the workbench, start laying out some holes, and get ready to attach our 2 pieces of pipe to this. I've got the vise, the original vise jaw, and the one we just made clamped together here. You can hardly see the joint there. Well, you can on this side with the light. But we're going to take the transfer punch now and transfer these original holes All right, I'm going to mount this one back on on the vise. Before I do that though, see if I find, yep, I got a blue marker here. I'm gonna mark this piece that we just made with blue so this old man can remember that that's the bottom. B for bottom. I've got our workpiece in, back in the vise. I got the vise jaw mounted back. Got it in here with our indicator marks up. I'm going to locate that first one. All right, I'm going to zero out the DRO right there. All right, now I'm going to move down and locate this hole. Now, 1032, I'm actually drilling this. I'm going to drill these holes oversized just a little bit. Probably about 2/64, so about a 32 larger than the 1032 itself. The reason for doing that is the same reason the holes in these vise jaws are a bit loose. They're loose so that you can align the back jaw, the fixed jaw, with the movable jaw. I want a little fudge factor in this as well to line up with those 1032 holes I drilled in the screws. Now we'll come back to zero on the DRO. Now you might have noticed too that I left this jaw hanging off the edge here. I did that so that we can locate the center. What I want to do is use this center finder to find the center on the x-axis and the y-axis, and from here on all of our work is going to be done from that center. Okay, I said we were going to do everything from the center, but we're actually going to do everything from the center on the Y and the back edge. I'm sorry, the center on the X and the back edge on the Y. And I think that'll make a little more sense in a moment. We need to find this back edge back here. All right, there's the edge. But our probe is 200 thousandths, so we want to go 100 thousandths. And now we want to move to the zero on the X. I'll zero out the Y at that 100 thousandths there. All right, we've got the back edge located and on the Y-axis, and we've got the center located on the Z-axis. Now the pieces that we made over on the lathe earlier, Mike could weld them on and get them straight, but I trust the tram on the mill a little bit better. So what it's going to be is these are going to be bolted on, and I've done a little measurements, and to clear the screw heads over here so the screws can go in, I think I need to offset on the x-axis 0.850 on each side of zero. So we come out. All right, there's 850, and to hold the pieces of pipe on here, I'm going to be using an 832 screws. These will be passed through countersunk, and on the pipe itself will be threaded. So we've come over 0.85, and now I want to step in to 0.350 from the bottom. And these heads need to be countersunk. Let's see what that depth should be. 160 thousandths. Now I'm going to step through this pattern and do the other three. All right, I think we're finished with this piece, other than some deburring on both sides, of course. Now remember how I marked this with the blue for the back side? We're going to do the same thing with our two pipe pieces. I'm going to take this pipe piece and I'm going to mark both of them in the blue. And I'm going to put that blue against the fixed jaw again. Now for an 832, I get my tap drill and tap out. All right, now we're going to locate the center of this pipe on the x-axis. Now, we found the center on the y-axis, so what we're going to do is come from again, the bottom edge is against the fixed jaw, what will be the bottom edge. We're going to come in our 350 thousandths. And 110 thousandths, or our 1 inch, 110, which just happened to be the measurements that worked out for the material I'm dealing with here. All right, now I'm ready to do or I'm going to do the same thing over to this piece, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, I carried the pieces back over to the workbench and put them together. I didn't figure you guys were interested in watching me screw, but what I did was screw the two pieces of pipe onto this jaw plate that we made back here. The holes line up fine. I'm not going to tighten these down right now, but if I had repeatable pieces or multiple pieces I needed to do, I go ahead and tighten those down. And again, what this does, all right, again, I've got a piece that, say I turned the boss over on the lathe, parted it off, and now I want to clean that up. With that being the same height as the jaws, I got 3 good points to hold it now, like you would have with a V-block. For other pieces, thin, that you want to hold, round pieces, excuse the bump, I've got it right in front of the mill now. Set this down on a parallel, and again, just like a V-block back here, got 3 good points of contact. So as I said at the beginning of the video, this is just a temporary tool here. I think it'll work good for a while, but my long-term goal is to make a V-jaw like the one I showed earlier in the video that Tom Lipton did. So take care, and I'll see you on the next video.